We're delighted to be able to celebrate the achievements of colleagues and support the widest possible audiences in terms of access to art and artists. This is the 4th year of the award, which is supported by the Marsh Christian Trust. We're delighted to have Sheila McGregor here from Access Web, and Brian Marsh himself as chairman of the Marsh Christian Awards here to present the awards. Engage is really pleased to be working with Access Web again this year as a partner within this conference, so thank you for that. The Marsh Christian Trust was founded by Brian in 1981. The Marsh Awards for Excellence cover some 70 areas of work, and they recognise the unsung heroes, the people who are peddling like mad behind the scenes across the charity sector in areas as diverse as heritage arts, literature, conservation and ecology. The Trust works with organisations such as Engage in order to identify the best candidates for these awards. In the last 3 years we've had 12 awards, including gallery educators, artists working in education, volunteers and curators. Each has received £500 as an award which they can use to further their own professional development. Winners have spoken at conference in the past and undertaken training and research and said how much they appreciate this award, which has helped them to sense that feeling of being valued within the profession and boosted their own personal confidence in terms of raising the profile of educational work in galleries and in the visual arts. This year we have 30 nominees, colleagues at all stages of their career, working as freelancers and within organisations. Nominations were judged by a panel of sector professionals and by the Marsh Christian Trust. The panel have been really impressed with the quality of work this year, and it demonstrates just how dedicated people working with audiences in galleries and the visual arts are in the UK. I'm delighted to introduce Sheila McGregor to announce this year's awards, and Brian, who will make the presentations himself. Sheila.
So, this year's winners of the Marsh Award for Excellence in Gallery Education in alphabetical order are Jack Brown. Jack is a freelance artist educator at the Saatchi Gallery, London, where he has worked on a wide range of projects with a variety of participants, from school groups to corporate partners, providing invaluable support to the education department. In nominating Jack, Francesca Wilson, Head of Education at the Gallery, highlighted Jack's dedication and careful planning, as well as his ability to strike the right note with visitors in the gallery, making artwork and projects relevant to all. Jack was also nominated by his colleagues at the Hackney Wicked Arts Festival, where as Director for Learning, he has developed an education programme that appeals to a wide demographic. Workshops are designed to provide platforms for professional development within the arts, and many of the projects that have started at the festival have continued beyond the weekend. In both nominations, Jack was commended for his energy, ideas, and for going above and beyond the remit of his role in supporting and nurturing artists. Jack will use the award on annual membership to a number of professional networks such as Engage, the Artists Information Company, and Access Web. So Jack.
Keep the money at the back, okay? Put the certificate at the front, make sure it doesn't glare. Hold it straight, stand. Wait, over there. Sorry. Your hand's blocking it. Okay. And then you're all right.
Jack is now going to say a few very brief words about his work.
Hello. So, I have been nominated for 2 different projects. The first, as you know, is a project at the Saatchi Gallery, and that was called Putting Things Together, and that was with the Prince's Foundation for Children in the Arts. And the second was a nomination for my work as a director of the Hackney Wicked Art Festival. I've worked with the festival for 5 years, and I've been a director of the festival for 2 of those years. And this year I curated a programme called Development, which included network events, residencies, exhibitions and workshops. And it focused on public participation and artist professional development. This is Pick and Mix, where there was a coding workshop and an architectural practice workshop. This is the activation site on Foreman's Yard. So all the projects here were being activated by or were activating their audience. And the structure you can see there is Alice Wilson's frame project. The project allowed participants to pick up a frame, close one eye and draw what they could see and add it to a sculpture. This is a group of artists called Navigate, who I commissioned to make a platform to perform on, which was literally a platform to perform on. Anyone could make a performance piece or leave an instruction to start a performance. This fella came dressed as Nigel Farage and made a Nigel Farage speech and was egged. He provided his own eggs. Here are some children taking on the role of performers from other people's instructions. And this was stuff school, so the school looked at different stuffs. On the Sunday morning they were looking at vegetables, and this was the ear department, so this is Andrew putting a contact mic into a courgette. And then the other nomination was for Putting Things Together, which was a project with students from Northumberland Park Community School. And we began the project by thinking about our collective influences, skills, and things we knew and things we didn't know. And we made quite an important choice to focus on the things we didn't know. And that meant we were able to bring elements together. So, for example, we were looking at pop stars and the pillar drill in the tech department that we've never used. So we drilled into pop stars' faces. We started to combine things like cars and rainbows. We were thinking about history and objects from the Thames, vacuum forming, embroidery, nail varnish. And the classroom became a space for experimentation and investigation, and pupils got away with doing things they wouldn't normally be allowed to do in a school. And then the resultant exhibition was at the gallery for 2 months, and the students returned as exhibiting artists and were interviewed about their work and spoke to the public as they came to see their work. And that's the piece of work I made. So I always make work alongside the people I work with, and I always try and be in the middle of the project I'm involved in. Thank you.
The next recipient of a Marsh Award is Vicky Chapter, Participation and Learning Manager at Aspects Visual Arts Trust in Portsmouth. Vicky's award will be accepted by Joanne Bushnell, Director of Aspects Visual Arts, her nominee. Vicky has been nominated by her colleagues for her enthusiasm and dedication to her role at the gallery. Having joined the organisation as a volunteer in 2009, Vicky now leads the education programme at Aspects, developing projects that include Aspects Green Space, a community garden and art space to increase engagement with the local community. Vicky has also led on a sub-regional partnership project to enable young offenders and hard-to-reach young people to engage with contemporary art, and continues to work to extend the gallery's highly regarded work with children with autism and special educational needs by developing strong relationships with specialist schools and units. In nominating Vicky, Joanne Bushnell described her as an exceptional arts manager with admirable professionalism and unwavering positivity. Vicky has an interest in galleries in China, having participated in the 2009 Study China programme at Shandong University. Vicky will use the award to visit the Chinese Contemporary Arts Centre in Manchester and the Confucius Institute there as well, and she aims to complete an intensive course in Mandarin. Very impressive. So, Vicky, would you like, or Joanne, I should say, would you like to come and accept the award on Vicky's behalf? Thank you.
Big smile. Thank you.
Hello, as Sheila's mentioned, I'm Joanne Bushnell, Director of Aspects. It's a contemporary art gallery in Portsmouth, which is a 33-year track record of supporting emerging artists at key points in their career and revealing the creative process through the engagement of audiences. So I am coming to read a speech on behalf of Vicky in sort of time-honoured, sorry she can't be here tradition. So this is Vicky's speech. To all my colleagues here this evening, I'm so sorry not to be able to be with you and accept this award in person. As some of you may know, I've recently got married and I'm currently away on my honeymoon. So although I'm very sad to miss the Engage conference, I hope you accept this as a reasonable excuse. In fact, Vicky has actually attended the last 5 conferences. She's never missed one since she's worked with us, so it's really quite a thing for her to not come tonight. So going on, I'm so honoured to receive a Marsh Award and feel that I'm also really accepting this on behalf of the whole team at Aspects, a wonderful group of people to work with who have supported me through everything I've achieved these last 5 years. I joined Aspects in 2009 as a volunteer while at university, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since. Just desperate to learn as much as I could, I've taken on a wide range of roles and jumped at as many opportunities as possible. I was delighted in 2010. I was offered an assisting role on the gallery's Aiming High programme for children with autism and SEN. Running for 4 years, the project became widely recognised for its innovative workshop programme delivered by artist Abby Gilchrist, and the welcoming nature of the gallery and project team, which included an occupational therapist. I was privileged at this time to receive extensive training, which has led to both an interest and determination to extend our work in this field. We've made strong links with Mary Rose Academy, a special school in the city, through the Strong Voices project, and I'm currently working in partnership with the school to lead a pilot project looking at arts numeracy with SEN groups in schools across the city. We have developed a strong relationship with other groups in the city, including Victory Schools, SEN and Language Unit, who visit the gallery on a regular basis. Since taking the role of the Participation and Learning Manager in 2012, I've had the pleasure of working with a wide range of groups, such as the Futurators, Aspects' Young Curators Group, Mini Makers, and various schools, colleges and community groups. In particular, I've been pleased to be able to initiate a new project, Aspects Green Space, a creative community garden project in the city, supported by Portsmouth City Council. The project has enabled Aspects to reach new audiences through off-site working and access to the arts. Through regular community days and support from local families and volunteers, the project has this year gone on to partner in Portsmouth in Bloom and was awarded an outstanding project by the RHS South and South East in Bloom, It's Your Neighbourhood. I've also been pleased to lead on a regional project called Bridging the Solent this year. It was developed following a collective desire by all partners to extend their engagement with hard-to-reach young people. Spanning Portsmouth and the Isle of Wight and Southampton, we developed a touring artwork entitled Cart, which would travel around the region over the course of 8 months, working with groups of young people, including Portsmouth and Isle of Wight offending teams, pupil referral units, No Limits Youth Support Foyer for the Island, Housing Support and Fairbridge Programme, Prince's Trust Southampton. As the cart toured, each group worked alongside artists to produce work to add to the installation. All of the creative partners, Aspects, Isle of Wight Council, Key Arts, Couple and Snakes, Nuffield Theatre and Red Hot Press, designed workshop programmes across a range of mediums such as photography, sculpture, spoken word, film and video and printmaking. All of the work created is currently being exhibited in the final venue at Key Arts on the Isle of Wight. So going forward, I'm keen to progress into the development of international participation projects. Those who know me know I have a huge passion for travel, and following participation in the Study China programme and voluntary work in China and Southeast Asia, I've been learning Mandarin for the past 5 years. I plan to use the Professional Development Award towards an intensive language programme, sit my HSK exams and take part in go and see visits to the organisations to learn and develop new projects. So on behalf of Vicky, I'd like to say thank you very much.
The next award is to be given to Rhonda Garland Pride, Head of Education at the John Hansard Gallery in Southampton. Rhonda has been nominated for her innovative and steadfast work with young offenders. Since 2007, Rhonda has been a dedicated advocate for the Arts Award with young people who have offended, working with more than 200 young offenders. Her work in this area encouraged her to embark on part-time doctoral research to evidence the value of contemporary art learning in restorative work with young people. Based on this research and previous work, Rhonda established an innovative longer-term weekly Arts Award programme with the newly formed Southampton Youth Offending Service in 2012, which helped to support the service to achieve its first ever Artsmark status in round 14, one of only 3 youth offending teams to achieve Artsmark nationally. In nominating Rhonda, the director of John Hansard Gallery, Stephen Foster, commended her innovative practice and how she was instrumental in the gallery becoming an Arts Awards Centre and recognised as an exemplar of best practice. This award will allow Rhonda to complete her PhD research on the benefits for young offenders of engagement in the arts.
Thank you to Engage and the Marsh Christian Trust for nominating me and for selecting me, and also John Hansard Gallery for nominating me, I should say. So I'm very nervous. In front of all my peers, it's actually quite nerve-wracking, so thank you. I just want to say a few words, so just bear with me. I have a couple of words that I'd just like to kind of say. I've now worked at the John Hansard Gallery for the last 14 years. I believe the expression is man and boy, but I'm not sure if that's entirely appropriate. But in all that time, I've been able to support many truly fantastic projects, working with young people and children in formal and formal education settings. But it was in 2007 that for me marked a real turning point, or I would say epiphany, in my work, my gallery education work. When asked by the sadly former Wessex Youth Offending team whether we'd be interested in helping them with the first summer arts college that they wanted to run, I have to say was just such a remarkable experience that we really could have undertaken. That 6-week programme that we worked on, I have to say, there's so many things I could tell you about the outcomes of that programme. But moreover, it really highlighted to me and the gallery the impact, the real impact that art education and contemporary visual art can make on young people, and particularly young people in very, very difficult circumstances and situations. I think some of the images that you see here really kind of reflect actually the journey that we've been on since 2007. Because since then, we've been working with many other summer arts colleges over the years. and also trying to think beyond that and think, well, what happens after that 6-week programme? Can't we do something else to continue that and support that impact? And I think, this image as well by a young person is actually part of the Koesler Trust exhibition at the South Bank Centre, mostly to do with issues around identity, which a lot of the young people have issues with. And again, I embarked on some doctoral research in 2010 with the University of Southampton School of Education. And I did that because I thought, what difference can a gallery educator make in terms of advocacy and being an agent for change? And I think we all can be agents for change, and actually just wanting to think about how we could evidence what the real kind of impacts were on young people, some of whom were part of the Visual Roots programme and went on to do Gold Arts Award and go on to meet MPs and the advocates themselves for Arts Council. You know, that whole kind of research for me was really, really important about how we could evidence what the real impact was, the deep-rooted impacts on young people. And I think when we talk about, it's a qualitative piece of research, when we talk about soft outcomes, well, what are soft outcomes? Are they really soft outcomes if they're meant to be things that help develop young people's self-esteem or confidence? Is that really a soft outcome? That's a really integral outcome of part of the human life we need to live. Sorry, anyways. So this image, actually reflects really well the first cohort of a weekly arts hall programme that we managed to actually set up in the end with the Southampton Youth Offending Service when it was newly formed, and initially funded by the Winch School of Art Research Centre, and then Artswork, and now, hooray, the Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner. Just goes to show you how valued it is. Thank you to everyone, and I'd also just very, very briefly like to also thank the fantastic freelance artist educators that we have worked with on the programmes too, who are absolutely integral to the work that we do. Thank you.
So, the final recipient of our Marsh Award is Sian Hughes. Sian has been nominated for her work as artist and tutor on the Lost in Art project, which is managed by Denbighshire County Council and funded by Denbighshire County Council and the Arts Council of Wales. Based at Ruthin Craft Centre, Lost in Art is designed for people with dementia, aged 50 and older, along with their family members and carers. The aim of the project is to explore the role of the visual arts in addressing issues that can affect people with dementia, including social isolation, loss of confidence, communication, quality of life, and well-being. Lost in Art has gained plaudits from the Alzheimer's Society, Bangor University's Dementia Services Development Centre, visitors to Ruthin, and the participants themselves. In nominating Sian, Arts Development Officer Sian Fitzgerald underlined how successful the project had become under Sian's guidance, and added that her contribution had made a positive and outstanding difference to the lives of a group of people. Sian will use the award for the Lost in Art group to create a soundtrack for a video animation of a tiger, which the group have already made. So Sian.
I'd like to acknowledge this award on behalf of Lost in Art, which is a project for people with dementia who are still living at home and their family carers, excuse me. It was devised and is managed by Sian Fitzgerald of Denbighshire County Council and funded by that council in conjunction with the Arts Council of Wales, and it's supported by Written Craft Centre where the workshops are run. I've been working with it now for 7 projects, and this is in its 4th year. It's a gallery-based project, which means that we start each session in the gallery looking at artwork in the current exhibitions, looking at art and engaging with it in the moment, and that's a very important part of the project. And we then move to the workrooms where I devise processes that I know the group will be able to engage with, and the idea is to link with previous exhibitions that we've looked at. So here it's Michael Brennan Wood, and the picture at the bottom is what the group made with that. And the process is important that I find things that they can be very creative with individually. And that includes the carers who are not there to support the person with dementia, but everyone's there to be creative in their own right. One of the skills for me is trying to find things that support each different person. And I know some are particularly interested in constructing creatively with wood, for example. During this process, then, they're learning a lot of new skills. They're learning to rediscover perhaps old skills. They're building up new memories because they're engaging with different processes. And they're having a lot of fun. And it's very enjoyable socially, both for themselves and for me working with them. And in this way, we find that we're addressing quite a lot of the issues that do arise with people with dementia, to do with social isolation, lack of confidence, lack of communication. And here they're out in the community, they're in public spaces, they're engaging in the gallery and in work. This is the said tiger, by the way, inspired by a Japanese artist, and that's the tiger that was made underneath. One of the key aspects of the project is its longevity, which means that the group has really settled. They've got a lot of confidence in themselves and in me, in a way, but when I come up with all these slightly off-the-wall projects, they go along with it. And it also gives them time to think and plan and explore what they want to do as well, which takes time with people with dementia, and it's a very important aspect. Another very key aspect is the intergenerational one, and at each project we work with a different local primary school and a different small class within that. And our group, the people who've been working for all those weeks on a particular process, are now the experts. They know how to use the process they've been exploring, they've got the skills. So the children come in, work with small groups and small teams within the group, and our participants show them how to explore the different processes, and jointly they then put together installations that then appear at the end of each project. We always have an exhibition or an installation in the gallery, supported by the Craft Centre. It's very much a team process. I definitely do not have all the answers, and each week I learn something from the group and from the people I work with. And for each project I work with a different artist who supports myself and the group. And obviously the team support behind as well, with Sian Fitzgerald and Joe McGregor, with Denbighshire County Council, with Philip Hughes, who's a director of Written Craft Centre, and with Sinead Phillips, the education officer. Finally, you mentioned sound, and indeed that has come from the group. This is a section of an exhibition, of an installation that the group put together, inspired by an exhibition called Carving Out Space, which used a lot of large wooden sculptures by people like David Nash. And the board behind that group there, just I don't know if you can see it, the boards that hang with objects hanging off it, was made by the gentleman in the orange sweater. He chose very carefully a selection of objects that he enjoyed bringing from home. They ranged from rusty screws to bits of wire, and he was very careful to see what different sounds could be made by each thing as he hung it on the board. And that got me thinking about the use of sound. And it actually occurred in another group as well, another group of people I'm working with, people with dementia, where they found once they'd hit some pieces of clay that they'd made, different sounds were formed. So I'm very interested now in seeing how we can take that forward, both for the soundtrack of the Tiger, but also using found objects and making musical instruments within the group that we can then integrate in with the artwork as well. So I'm very, very pleased to have this award because I feel it's going to support Lost in Art and take it forward in new directions. It's a group I thoroughly enjoy working with, and thank you very much indeed. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi gyd.